Hello and welcome to Alton Towers Resort for the park's opening day for 2024. I just can't wait to get down to Forbidden Valley and see all the changes. Getting on Nemesis for the first time in 18 months, since September 2022 was the last time I did it. It closed on the 6th of November 2022, but I last did it in September. Last at the park on the 4th of November last year. Seen all the changes, and I'm doing this intro really fast. I just can't wait to get in and see everything that's happened for this season. I'm also booked in for the Alton Towers Dungeon as well, because it seems like it's going to be closing later in the year. So I want to get one last run through as it is at the moment. Let's get down to Forbidden Valley.
But sometimes, you know, when you see that, I go, how long was the video? See, you know, I'd watch it again with that in mind.
You're not too heavy yet.
Yeah, that's on the one side, and Loki stood on top of it. I don't know if they walk around as music goes. I know that some of them walk.
Ignore everything that they're saying.
They're really going for it, aren't they? Lions over there.
Taking over here as the head of communications here in Phalanx, I have had to worm out misdirection, leaking information, and grasp what we are doing here with two firm hands. That is why I shall make it my top priority.
Incredible.
Policy forward and what we are doing here with this complicated, weighted ordnance, strict movements of this one. As if you went there, it happens on every
No, because in all honesty, if that was the case, I can't go crazy. Egg!
Repainted. I think it's these moments. Oh wow. All the mist. To the loop.
It's democracy. It only
It's all right.
My granddad vanished. Especially Nemesis. Manipulating a genetic code. You shouldn't trust any phalanx leaders.
Yeah, lock Forbidden Valley.
But they can't. The sedative is stopped working. The steel containment pins aren't holding it down. It's breach containment. Listen to me. Get to a safety bunker now. It's stronger, angrier, and hungrier. It's out of control.
Ah. Well.
My friend made one where it was.
Oh, look at the theming.
We had to do Dota Heroes.
Yeah.
Looking at the works on here. Scientists in the volunteers you must not go near Nemesis. The phalanx leaders have been telling you it's all under control, but it's not.
It took so long to load. Bad practical execution. But that TikTok thing that used to be a thing was like, times it's up at the Jedi, people think they can see go dark and they come out. I really want to do that.
Properly excited now. There we go. Oh my god. That is incredible. Into the station. Woo! Oh. This might be better than Wickerman Station. And there's that sound. Oh wow. Wow. Just to see this in person. Wow. Wow. All the red lighting. And after 4 hours, I've been on Nemesis Reborn, and let me just say, getting back on there, after 18 months of waiting, I can't get over it, honestly. I'm still kind of emotional, just going around that helix, and the sustained forces were better than ever. It's so smooth. Oh my god, I don't even know. I've been waiting for this for ages. I've been building up to it. I've been the more hype. The opening day announcement, I was worried I wasn't going to be able to come today. And then here we are, just experienced Nemesis, my first ride of the day. And it's, what, 1:35? Yeah. it's been a long wait, long queue for Nemesis Reborn. Just here you can see all the tentacles, but it is looking stunning. This area is obviously Galactica's over there, that hasn't really changed, but this part of Forbidden Valley is unrecognisable, it genuinely is. But on a self-shaking, it's just the sustained forces around that helix, and at the bottom of the loop, and I cut into the 0G as well, obviously after the helix. There it is. And the atmosphere's been incredible. I've met rollercoaster Rachel as well. I did see John Wardley. Hopefully I'll get to meet him later. I did when I first entered the Nemesis queue line entrance. John Wardley was just stood down there talking to people, so it's nice to see him in person. My absolute hero. Of course, the designer of Nemesis itself back in 1994 when it first opened, and of course during construction in 1993. What a coaster this is. It's worth coming here. It's been worth the wait. 18 months, and then those last 4 hours of waiting for Nemesis Reborn. Absolutely incredible. It's so cold. I feel like I need to do a dark ride now because the Curse of Alton Manor and Nemesis Subterra are relatively quiet. And of course I'm booked in for the Alton Towers Dungeon later on. Yeah, so just the fact I've been on it now, incredible. But I'm going to have a look in the shop. Yeah, I've also bought my Curse of Alton Manor resin as well. Finally, I've been wanting to get that from Its Fireworks.
Whoever's doing the
Please may I have some
Oh, I don't know, it's probably busy there.
Are you still doing CVs?
I've just experienced the Curse of Alton Manor. I mean, yeah, after doing Nemesis and then I did the Blade as well, which was running a really short cycle. Kind of a bit disappointing, to be honest. I wasn't on the end either, because it was quite busy. But, yeah, this ride is fantastic. I mean, normally I'd do this multiple times a day, but I don't think I'm going to be able to today. I'm going to try and work my way around to the dungeon, and hopefully get on Rita or 13 while I'm around that side. I might do Wicker Man next, depending on how long the queue is, or the Smiler on single rider. Yeah, this is my third ride of the day, and it's, well, 2:30, but it kind of feels later because of how long we waited for Nemesis, but it's always good that it feels later because then obviously it's not going to go too quickly. Yeah, there was a couple of things. The only thing I really thought that wasn't working in there was the big hand. So obviously when you're going into the attic scene, there's normally a big hand, and it's like Emily's like kind of reaching into the doll's house and like, got you. That wasn't working. But I think they probably knew because the sound effect wasn't on either. Also, the dolls coming out in the first part of the doll's house weren't working. It was kind of a sort of just travelling through until we got to the where the spiders, the 3 sort of smaller spiders, come out from behind a few boxes. That was the first bit, and then everything was working after that. There seems to have changed some of the timings as well. So when like the portrait of the house smashes, It seemed a bit later than it normally is. Yeah, I don't know if that is just because sometimes obviously the ride vehicles are closer together than other times. But I did get a closer up look view of the lightning bolts today, and also the trommel tunnel was working really well. Because sometimes you're so close to the other car that when the other car leaves, you're kind of at the end. Whereas it was pretty good today. So I got a good period in the trommel tunnel without another car directly in front, which is obviously when it works the best. Yeah, still one of my favourite dart rides over here in the UK. Obviously I'm going to be doing another dart ride later on. I was going to do Nemesis Subterra, but it had a 40-minute queue. Not worth it, really. So this is 20. And the pre-show is brilliant with all the effects. And yeah, I did the Emily on the ride vehicle was also working as well as the projection in the Grand Hall scene, and the demon as well. Obviously the sort of swinging demon heads as well, I noticed them. You kind of have to look up in that scene, so you might just think it's empty space if you don't look up, but it's a good thing because it means you can't see the mechanisms as much, because if the lights were too bright then you'd be able to see it. But yeah, it seems crazy. It was 18 months ago last time I did Nemesis, and also since I came for the closing day of Jewel. Crazy to think this was Jewel. Like, it's transformed so much into a properly immersive dart ride. And this was obviously it's right next to Forbidden Valley. It didn't feel like that earlier because the queue for Nemesis spanned from Runaway Mine Train, so a long queue. But what a soundtrack has this got as well, one of my favourites to listen to. Okay, repainted the fences. I was such a big kid coming in here. Right, this way to Optonauts. Oh, what a contrast has today been. I'm such a big kid. Fourth ride of the day, here we come. Best coaster at the park.
Did you know that?
Oh yeah, hands up all the way. 2-lap special Octonauts 2015 Zamperla Junior Coaster. I actually enjoyed that more than I thought I would. I was on the back row, so I got a little bit of force and a little bit of a pull down the drop. I was genuinely quite surprised because, I mean, I last did this 8 years ago, 2016. It took me by surprise. It was a lot more enjoyable. Maybe it's because I'm older now, so I got more out of it. I'm just going to go and check the queue for Postman Pat, and then I'm going to do Spinball Wizard, but it was advertised 25 minutes. It looks longer than that, but I guess I'll have to see. Oh, something special. I think they've repainted pretty much all of the fences around here. But yeah, Postman Pat says 5 minutes on the app, so it shouldn't be too long until I get on that, and then try and go back on, get on Spinball Wizard, because I didn't do that at all last year. It's been a long time. Oh, here we go. It's what I call my childhood in one ride. Oh, I love the theatre. I haven't been around here for 8 years, this whole area. That's why I've been such a big kid about it. From Nemesis Reborn, one of the world's most intense coasters. I mean, it's still got that sign, the world's most intense ride experience. From a world-class coaster to Octonauts and Postman Pat, but who cares when you're an enthusiast? Come on. There we go, the music's kicked in. Hey. Is that theming? Brilliant. I grew up with this show, so honestly, this is why I'm being such a big kid about this area. It's because a lot of these shows I grew up with, I was so nostalgic, especially like the music around this area. Amazing. CPP's on its 10th anniversary this year. God, I can't believe 10 years since the first time I went to Alton Towers. Mainly for this, I was 5 at the time. It's gone by so quick, but yeah, just to get back on this again. I think it might have been 2014 last time I did this. I can't remember if I did it in 2016, but yeah. Postman Pat, here we go. I'll see if I can film on this as well. What an atmosphere it's always got down there. Love it. Okay, look over there in the night garden. It looks quite quiet. I might see if I can squeeze that in after this. I don't know. Obviously, that's a Matt Ride's boat ride. Very old school. I'll be actually going to another one of those in the dungeon later. As long as I can fit Spinball Wizard and possibly Rita in before heading down to the Alton Towers Dungeon. It's also an interactive ride, this one. Yeah. Oh, I don't cover this area enough. Obviously, I haven't been since I've started filming vlogs. I've been to all the other kids' areas, apart from this one. Yeah, Peppa Pig, Nickelodeon, and Thomas, but I haven't been to this area, so it's nice to just cover 2 or 3 rides. I might do in the night garden. It looks quiet. It says 10 minutes on the app, so yeah, and then I'll go over and do Spinball because Get Set goes on 25, and I don't think it's really worth it. It's like 10 minutes, yeah. Up to launch was longer than 15. It was advertised as 15, but I'm pretty sure it was longer than that. So yeah, nice, really nice themed area actually. Really, really nice. And for big kids, enthusiasts, and obviously kids, it's great. I just love it coming around these kids' areas. Beautiful song. Theming's so good on this ride. Best themed ride vehicles in the park. Oh, look at the 2 different designs there. Yeah. Final ride. Yeah. Final ride in Sea Babies land over here, but not the last boat ride I'll be doing today. Oh, you can go out through the gift shop. I do love the theming on that. It's good animatronics, all the effects are working as well. Fantastic. Right then, off to, I don't even know what I'm doing next, to be honest. There we go. Out of Sea Babies land. It's been, I mean, I've spent over an hour in here. I think it's longer than I expected, to be honest. But the dungeon is in an hour, so. And then we've still got a while after that. Hopefully try and get a Wickerman at night, because obviously it is after dark. Unfortunately the fire hasn't been fixed on Wickerman. I've seen a Towers Street post. Yeah, it's a shame about that, but yeah, Treetop Adventure, that's the only one I haven't done, but that's got 20 minutes, and I mean I've still spent over an hour, so maybe a bit too long, but yeah, at first I was like, oh, I'm a big kid, and then I'm kind of getting worried about losing track of time, so just leaving the area now. But great themed area. Yeah, Postman Pat was good. I did film on it and then it got deleted, but the staff member at the entrance was like, yeah, you can film on any ride that doesn't have a lap bar. But then the staff member when I got off was like, you can't film on it, so I'm kind of, I don't know, I guess it depends on the staff member. But yeah, so that's why I didn't risk it within the night garden, but I ended up losing the POV anyway, so, but yeah, leaving now. Brilliant. I just experienced Spinball Wizard. Really whippy, quite rough in places. Obviously, because I'm used to going on Storm Chaser at Paulton's Park with really comfy restraints, you barely got any leg room on Spinball, but great marathon spinning coaster. Opened here in 2004, making it 20 years old this year. And back to the Alton Towers Dungeon, I have just noticed both the flame torches are working on there. I haven't done it since 2022, and because it seems like it's going to be closing permanently this year, yeah, it's going to be worth doing one last time. by the world of David Williams. Here we go. It's a bit quiet. It's like a face up there. No flashy or talkie boxes. Well, I've just experienced the Alton Towers Dungeon. I've had to do this extra clip because it didn't record properly, and yeah, so I'm back on my way down to the dungeon now to do the proper review. But we'll start off, obviously, because they've got the board with all the scenes on it there. Back down in Clown Cuckoo, well, technically Clown Cuckoo, it's part of the towers really now. By the Burger Kitchen, but yeah, so I can see it now. Yeah, starting with obviously the judge scene. So you go in, you've got the actors just sort of staring at people in there. Yeah, so the actor's fantastic in there. Someone had to stand in the sort of plinth and say, I think it was I got a wiggy for a jiggy. And with that to stand with a sign around them. And there's also the book that kind of opens up and you get the light come out of it, like with the sort of judge. And then there was the last person who was guilty, who literally just had to stand there and say where they were from, and he says guilty and smashes the hammer down. So yeah, great scene, great first opening scene for the dungeon. It has now closed. I was in the 5 o'clock session, the 5:30 on the last one. So yeah, well, back up to World of David Williams in the dungeon. So yeah, I definitely enjoyed it a lot more this time. Yeah, back to the brilliant themed facade. I mean, this is actually one of the best facades for a dark like this park. Apart from this side, yeah, it's just painted black. They left part of the Charlie facade up and just painted it black. You can still see the shapes, the sort of theming of the building, the way it was shaped, and it still looks very much like the Charlie and the Chocolate Factory facade. But the part that's not actually where the ride or part of the dungeon actually goes into. It is just this part, so it doesn't really count as part of the dungeon anyway. It's this part of the facade that's fantastic. I mean, yeah, they painted it black, so it kind of fits in a bit better than just having part of Charlie and the Chocolate Factory inside of here. So yeah, the judge scene is fantastic. Yeah, you've kind of got a shield behind. Also, the first person who did who was guilty, was because it was like a horse. They stole a horse, and then the judge says, and is the horse a witness? And then you hear a horse sound effect. It's like, yes, the horse is a witness. And then and there's also something about sort of killing a grandma on the road, and the person was like, well, she was on her way out, just saying, and then yeah, so yeah, a fantastic sort of opening scene. Then into the Black River, which is just over here by the sign. Fantastic boat ride. I actually really enjoyed it. It's the dark ride in this dungeon. Yeah, obviously this one doesn't have a drop tower, but you've got Nemesis sub tower at the other side of the park, so it doesn't really need one, especially now because this opened in 2019 before that closed. But yeah, this looks like it's closing this year. So yeah. The judge says, you're guilty, you're ready to go to a fate more terrible than death, the Black River, the dark ride in this dungeon. I actually really enjoyed it. So the first scene you go into, it's quite, so the station's got these like drapes hanging down, the brick wall with the sort of lanterns, and also the wheel that was there for Toyland Tours. It's now got this sort of wooden effect. Also the operator, the person opening the gates was like, what's that? Boat. What's that? River. What's that? A step. Step into the boat, not into the river. And yeah, it's meant to be a tributary of a river in Staffordshire, because I like this one. It's got Staffordshire history in it. So yeah, so there's like someone hanging on the ceiling in the first scene. Then you go round into a room where there's like a projection map of someone being tortured on a curtain, like a white curtain. There's like silhouettes. There is a lot of physical theming in there, which I do like. It doesn't really rely on screens. All the screens are just sort of silhouettes, and there's only really 3. And then you've got someone hanging upside down behind, and also there's like a body hanging with a projector map face. I'm not going to the next scene. Then it's into the sort of third scene. There's someone in a cauldron. There's also another curtain with silhouettes of people being hanged and tortured on there. And yeah, you've got someone popping out of a cauldron with like the burning hot coals torture with being in a cauldron. So yeah, just animatronics. There's a lot of animatronics, like the one with the projection map face, and also the one hanging from the ceiling as well, just sort of dangling down. Good animatronics. It's all physical as well. Like I say, there's only really the 3 sort of silhouette screens. Then into the mirror maze, which is in Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. Pretty much unchanged. It's just a lot darker. So obviously there's mirrors you can see them both for some of you. And also there's a soundtrack. It's got a really good soundtrack this as well. That's something else. And obviously the Plague Doctor's got the more droney soundtrack. So yeah, into the mirror maze, and then you kind of get this like sort of skeleton, and there's like a projection mapped silhouette screen again, and you get squirted by water. But yeah, into there, and then you're into the final section, which is where there's like someone kind of behind a door, banging on like holding onto the bars, trying to get out, like and banging on it, and then you go through this camo netting covered tunnel. Kind of thing, and then you go out, and there's an actor who's like, beware of Alton Castle, beware of the toilets. So yeah, into the Alton Castle section, you've got like the Traitor's Welcome. That's that bit with the head on a stick. Then down to scene 3, which is the torch ride. Well, technically scene 2, because the Black River's obviously a full-on dark ride. Probably the highlight of the experience. I think last time it's the Haunting, but the dark ride, the Black River. Last time I seem to remember you could sort of see outside through the ceiling, whereas you couldn't this time. It was properly pitch black, which was brilliant. I don't think I found it very well themed last time, but yeah, also some of the black walls were still there, but I didn't notice them as much. Yeah, into the torturer. Someone gets in the cage and stays there till after the show's finished, and then gets let out. Like, do you know any of Oliver Cromwell? And then someone sits in the chair and they demonstrate the different tools. There's the tongue slicer, where you slice the tongue off after it's been in burning hot coals. It's always burning hot coals with a lot of these torture methods. They're like, what sound does it make? And then there's the hook, where they get hanged kind of from the back of the neck, or from their bum if they've been real tortured. Like it'd be like a worse punishment. And then that's the one we've seen with the black wall at the back, but I didn't notice it as much this time. But you've got like chains and a chandelier on the ceiling, sort of like the queue line, where you get the stops and stuff in there. So yeah, and then there's also the final tool, which is like this one you can't use on the ladies, and then someone sits there. And then the actor was, because obviously it's always the same gag, it's like the actor sort of it's like, use this one, and like, snip, oh, it's finished. I think this size might be more suitable. Obviously it's a smaller one. Oh yeah, that's the tongue, just there. And then it's into the Highwayman, so it's the pub scene. The actor was like, do you want to meet any of my ladies, if you wink at me? And then obviously and then she was like, oh yeah, you just, you don't get, and someone you're like, oh yeah, you're you're keen, and then she just sort of does these long awkward pauses, and that's like the judge as well, just like a lot of staring at people and making eye contact. She just did a lot of pauses of just staring at someone constantly, and then doors, the shutters close, the Highwayman, you can hear like the audio around the room behind people, and then it's like, I was just going to put here for the horse to rest and a drink, but now you lot are here. And then like the seats drop back, and then she reappears again. And then into the plague doctor, which obviously pulling out the bits is a key thing with that. So the plague doctor's a fantastic actor again. All the actors always do such a good job. Also something about the boat ride. Yeah, you've got like the water dripping down as well as the spray, so it's a great kind of, you get quite wet on it really. But the plague doctor, so you've got the doctor and she's like, yeah, and the doctor, you come to see the doctor when he's just here, and also like the doctor promised that he'd return, and he was in a box. So yeah, we just in there, obviously pulling out the intestines, the heart, and it starts beating. She's like, oh, let's just put that one back in, and it kind of glows. And the bladder gag where you like spray water, and then the leeches where she like holds up a jar. She holds up like a bottle of blood from plague, like contaminated. And she's like, oh, and something I wanted to show you, the leeches. Oh, but some of them escaped, and then you kind of feel them underneath the seats. That's another scene with a blank wall, but again, you don't really notice it because you sat down. It is a £9 upcharge online pre-book, and also an £11 if you buy on the day. Yeah, I mean, it's probably normal ride close at 5. If you did the last session at 5:30 or the 5, you could get your last ride in Dark Forest or World of David Walliams, and then pop down to the dungeon to get your session in. Oh, the flame torch has just gone out. One of them has. And they were both working, which is good. And then someone gets in the chair behind the curtain, and then like you banging to get the plague out, and then like using the scythe to cut the wrist open to get all the bad blood out, because obviously the leeches are also a way to get the bad blood out, the plague. And then as you're on your way out, and also there's like posters and stuff and brickwork and skeletons and things, like posters about the leeches and fleas and things like that. And there's like a shelf with all bottles and stuff on it. Also in the Highwayman, you've got like the jugs and like on the bar as well. Then you've got the windows at the back which are screens, which kind of light up blue, so like the outside. But yeah, and then you're into the as you're leaving, she's like, oh, you've got the plague, you passed it on to him, you passed it on to her, and then oh you haven't, oh wait, you have. All the symptoms of plague. And then to the haunted, my favourite scene last time, still my favourite actual scene. I think Black River was the highlight this time, to be fair though, because I enjoyed it a lot more. Yeah, the haunted and Molly Lee, where you go, Molly Lee, you can't catch me, and like the actor sort of, she was someone who was a bit strange, then kind of became just a ghost story to tell the children, spook them, but then he goes, Molly Lee, you can't catch me. Yes, she can, and just sort of screams. And then there's quite a few good jump scares with the actors. And then you kind of brilliant sort of scene where all the sort of mugs start moving on the table, and then the curtains flap open, and then it goes dark. Molly Lee appears screaming. And then the last scene, she sort of raises her arms. I think she appears 3 times with a strobe light and just that long white hair. Brilliant special effects. It's also themed all the way around with the windows, and the walls are all themed as well. So, Alton Towers Dungeon, what do I think? It's actually quite a nice experience. I don't think upcharges should be in theme parks. You know how I feel, but there's a fantastic dark ride in there and various different actor-led scenes. The other thing is as well, as you come out, there's another head on a stick, projection map face, after the boat ride, and also the sort of projection map hanging person on the boat ride. Another projection map face, and then there's a laughing goblin, which I've never noticed before, on one of the sort of themed brick walls. But yeah, so it's quite a nice dungeon. Yeah, it doesn't feel as long as the others, you can definitely tell, because it's 45 minutes, but it is local Staffordshire history. And also, if you look at the plague doctor scene, like, you got the bladder pulling out the bits just there, and like the Highwayman, and look at all the scenes. That's the map of the dungeon with all sort of, 4 scenes and then a ride, obviously, as well. So, yeah, yeah, pretty good to be fair. Oh yeah, 5 scenes and a ride, and then there's also a couple of talking heads as well. So yeah, and obviously the Alton Castle scene, there's like big doors as well at the side. Just trying to mention every bit of theming in here. But yeah, this is its 4th incarnation now, and it could be closing. Oh yeah, in the boat ride, something I didn't mention. There's like a sort of gate. You can see it on there. There's like this sort of portcullis that kind of opens up as you're going through one of the tunnels. I'd never noticed that before. It's in the Mirror Maze scene, so look out for that. But yeah, it's worth doing this year because it might be closing. But you got to think, it was around the world in 80 days from 1981 to 1993. Toyland tours from 1994 to 2005. Charlie and the Chocolate Factory from 2006 to 2015. Remained SPNO until 2019, and then opened as the Dungeon in 2019. Yeah. So Charlie was SPNO until 2018, then this opened in 2019, and then here we are, potentially waving goodbye to this. That's why I wanted to do it, because I wouldn't normally do it because it's an upcharge, and I only thought I'd do it once in 2022, but I've enjoyed it a lot more, and also it was worth it. For the second reason it was worth it, because it's just with that might be saying waving goodbye to this in the future. It's 4th incarnation, but yeah, you see the shutters are down, but you can see like the portcullis, barrels, crates, flame torches, the sign's still lit up, and there's all this beautiful red lighting, and then you got the portcullis and the sort of kind of hooded kind of people just sort of stood there in the archways. It's a nice facade on this side with the wooden beams and the nice castle kind of ruins, and there's also like a skeleton cage down there and stuff as well. But yeah, this side's just the Charlie facade painted black. You can still see the shaping of the building stuff. It kind of looks temporary in places, because all the corridors between some of the scenes are all just painted black walls as well. But, you know, I had a really great time in there and a good laugh as well. I wouldn't normally do it, like I say, because it's an upcharge. However, it was worth it for a second go round as well. And also because we're potentially saying goodbye to this later in the year. Right, let's do some rides. This is the second time I've done this review. It's been ages. But it's done now, and I can relax. Right, here we go. And also you've got this dungeon sign just here with the logo on it and the pillars. It's a little photo opportunity with the chains. It's nice, well themed though, with the wheels and barrels. There are a lot of smaller theming details in there, which is nice. But yeah, let's do some rides now. And you've got all these wicker fences as well. You've got to hold that there now. Look at that. Beaut. Train model from 1994. Well, the original design anyway. 1,000 bolts. Some bolts. Oh, new Nemesis Beast. Got all the information. 94. Wow. Oh, and there we go, we've got this beauty of a soundtrack to end today's vlog. It's kind of been an emotional one, to be honest. Especially coming around that helix on Nemesis, that sustained force. Not experiencing anything like that in 18 months. Beautiful. There we go. Oh, honestly, what a soundtrack. It's one of my favourites. I haven't even been on Galactica for 18 months, and it's going to be even longer. But yeah, just sort of approaching the end of the day, let's sort of a review. I did Wicker Man, front row, in the dark. This is what I love about this Alton After Dark event. Even not doing Galactica or Nemesis, just seeing on that red light and the blue, of course, on Galactica, and this beautiful soundtrack. It has got a new sign that isn't embossed, however, because the old one got wind damaged. I don't think it shows up Forbidden Valley because it has a jet wash and it looks beautiful. However, it doesn't fit in with the theme of Forbidden Valley, especially with the Phalanx taking over, you know, NST, Nemesis Subterra, and there's all these code names on different units around the building. This one's got it's got like a blue theme on this side and a red theme on the other side. But yeah, and also just the atmosphere here has been incredible. Meeting Rachel, brilliant. I gave her a sticker for my YouTube channel as well. honestly, that just made my day, and that was before I even got on any rides. It hasn't really been relaxed, it's been very frantic, the weather's been terrible, although that seems to be a theme from what I've heard about opening days here. So yeah, but yeah, Wicker Man, it was, B&M Beauty, 2002. Yeah, doing Wicker Man. It was all the lighting, going down that first drop and seeing Wicker Man lit up with the flames. It was like the advert from 2018. It was incredible. Look at the portal. It was incredible. Also getting to do the Alton Towers Dungeon potentially for the last time. Also incredible. Let's get to Galactica Gate. Spinball Wizard was running very whippy and a bit rough. I think because I'm so used to doing Storm Chaser, it was, well, you'd realise how little leg room there is on there, but yeah. Oh, this queue was down here. Nemesis got to 90 minutes. 90 minutes at sort of near the end of the day, an hour and a half. Not that long compared to the 4.5 hours I queued, but it was worth it. All the enthusiasts, I've seen other enthusiasts around. I also saw John Wardley as well. Yeah, shame I didn't get a chance to meet him. I'm gutted about that, but yeah, at least I've seen him in person. That was incredible. I only noticed after I'd filmed the video, so he might actually be, well, I think he is on that video. I've also been through Haunted Hollow, but I haven't filmed it, so I shortcutted up, and then the queue for Nemesis went all the way through Gloomy Wood past Alton Manor, and yeah, what a day. It's been probably one of the worst days I've had in terms of rides, but the best for atmosphere. That'll stay the same for a long time. And I've got quite a bit of merch. I've got the Curse of Alton Manor resin I wanted to get last year, got a Nemesis monkey, a Nemesis t-shirt, and a Nemesis on-ride photo to wrap up the first day of the 2024 season at Alton Towers.